Hey everybody, it's Mike Malbro back with Wallet Reset, and in this video I'm gonna show you, if you're broke, the absolute reason why. So before I get started and just dive into what's going wrong, let me tell you a little quick story. So a couple years ago, probably 2015, I woke up on August 1st in my car in some strange place in Virginia with like $4 in my pocket. I was dead broke, and I was just like, man, how did I get here? I ended up leaving from Raleigh, North Carolina, coming back up here to Virginia Beach, and I was broke. I did some stupid stuff while I was in Raleigh that helped somebody else out that was really not a good fit for who I was and for who I needed in my circle. And yeah, I messed myself over. So I was absolutely broke. Before that, I had split up with my spouse of 7 years. We've been together 9 years, and left behind $500,000 of net worth. So all of this I tell you to tell you this is, I did all that because while I was building that net worth, I was thinking that that would provide something for me to fill a hole that I had inside like my spirit. I was just like, I was broken by growing up in a way that don't get me wrong, I was provided everything that my grandparents could give me, but for some reason I just had a disconnect with the way that money works, the way that value works, stuff like that. And so while I was fairly spoiled as a child, I grew up not understanding value, not understanding a lot of things. And so my directive, as soon as I became an adult, I was like, I want to be rich, I want to be a multimillionaire, I want to be a billionaire if possible. And I started to build wealth. At 25, I bought my first house. And I was like, okay, well, I got a plan. I'm going to do X, Y, Z, boom, 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 boom. If you've seen my first video, then you know what that plan was. I actually rented it out. I rented out my first house about 2-3 years after we bought it, and then moved into another house, which through some very, very tactical planning and buying and just crazy, ridiculous, like, just discipline, I was literally like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep on stacking money, keeping houses, stacking money, keeping houses. And I built up my net worth very quickly, within 3 years, to $500,000 from like negative a couple thousand. I got to that new house and I checked my net worth and I was like, man, I'm already at 500,000. And it just dawned on me at that moment that getting rich is easy. It's ridiculously easy. It's just, it takes persistence and it takes discipline and focus. And B, I wasn't happy. I learned that you can't. When people say money doesn't buy happiness, what they mean is not that you can't buy things that make you happy, which was what I thought they meant. And I was like, of course you can. Of course you can buy happiness. Like, if I buy a car and I like the car, then I'm happy. I bought happiness. And I still say that you can buy happiness. As a matter of fact, anytime you make a purchase, that's what you're trying to do. But you can't buy fulfillment. That's a better way to say it. Money does not buy fulfillment. Money doesn't buy that joy, that experience of, now I've gotten to where I want to be, right? And ultimately, nothing buys that. And so the problem I had is, like, I was like, man, I feel like a failure And I literally just bought I owned 2 houses. I was 20, I was just about to turn 28. Owned 2 houses, $500,000 net worth, had a good job, had, everything that you could ever say someone that you look at should be happy with, right? And of course I could have had more money, I could have had more of anything, but I realized like what I wanted wasn't more. What I wanted was to be whole. I wanted to be fulfilled. I wanted to have passion. And that's really ultimately what it boils down to is I wanted something that I was passionate about. And after, some very deep, dark struggles with depression and anxiety and all kinds of stuff, divorce, lots and lots of just trying and failing, I found that what I was passionate about is what most people are passionate about. And so what I mean is, all right, so I learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all right, in psychology class. I learned a lot of different things, but really what it boils down to is this. On the hierarchy of needs, you have basically survival needs, then you have social needs, and you have esteem needs, then you have, I'm missing one. And then at the very top, there's self-actualization, right? Which is you feeling like, okay, I have everything I want. Now I want to give back, right? And ultimately what I realized is that that's really what I wanted to, when it comes to fulfillment. I wanted to feel like I was helpful. I wanted to feel like I could give more of myself. And it's weird because I'm at my base, as a human being, who I actually would normally have said I was a selfish person by nature. I was a me first kind of a person. And I realized like, no, that's not what makes me happy. That's just my conditioning. That's who I think I am, and that's why I act that way. But in reality, that's survival mode Mike. But Mike is not in survival mode. So unless I leave survival mode mentally, I will always feel selfish, right? I'll always be selfish. So I have to mentally ascend. I can't just ascend by my actions alone, right? I have to become who I want to be, and I have to live through my passion of providing and giving value to other people. And I find that everybody on some level has that as their drive, right? And you may agree, you may disagree, but I'll tell you this. If you're broke right now and you're chasing money, that's why you're broke. You're broke because you're chasing money and you don't understand the way that your personal economy works or any economy works. All right, and that's not to bash you. I say that to say that money, right, is just a symbol for the value you have provided to someone else, the amount of benefit you have given someone else. And so if you are not rolling in dough, it's because you haven't provided value, or you haven't explained value, or you haven't, you get what I'm saying? And ultimately what ends up happening most of the time with people who are focused on making money is they show through their body language, which is 80% of all communication is body language. They show through their body language that they really only care about making money. And this is like the salesman's issue most of the time, or someone who's in business. Their issue most of the time is that they want to make money. And they think about their sales. They think about how much money is coming to them. And so they chase money, they talk to people, and don't really listen. And then people don't want to buy from them. And then they go buy from someone else. And then the salesperson talks down to the person who didn't buy from them. Or you could be a mid-level, slightly successful business owner, and you're making money because you're not just focused on providing value, right? Now you have the understanding of like, oh, okay, if I give this person what they need, they're going to give me money. Cool. But here's the thing, you can't communicate value. That's even worse. That's even worse because now you're good, right? So this is the thing. You start out right here, right? Oh, I have 0. Or you might have something, but you know what I'm saying. You're starting out at the bottom, right? Then you go to here and you're good. You're making sales, you're making some money, you're comfortable now. And the problem with that is that you can only provide value for yourself, maybe probably your family too. You can live pretty good on this. You could probably make couple million dollars in that level just by really working hard, staying diligent. But if you don't learn to communicate value, if you don't know how to express to other people and how to get in front of enough people or the right people to communicate what you have that is valuable in a way that lets them know how it helps them, then you will never have the money, right? And so ultimately, that's really the only 2 things you need to know about business is that you have to find a way to provide something of value, and you have to communicate that you have something of value to the right people. And even when people learn that, you can make money, you can have $1 million, not mentally understand that you are the source of your problems, and you are also the source of your happiness and the things that you gain. If you feel like, if you don't feel like you're worthy mentally, if you have a hole, if you have an emptiness in you, you're going to do everything you can, whether you know it or not, to release that money. You're going to want to get rid of it because now the problem isn't you. The problem isn't you being poor. Now the problem is you not feeling good, not being happy with the life that you live and having the money. And the money is now, instead of you owning the money or owning the things that you buy, it owns you. You have become a slave to the materials that you own. And that feels worse than being broke. Because when you are broke, you're free. If you literally have no bills and you have no income, right? And the only thing you have to do is make sure that you eat and drink enough to not die, you're free. You are living the life of a free person. You can go and decide, oh, I'm going to go and cut this guy's grass and make $20, go eat and be happy for the rest of the day. I'm just not going to do anything else, right? If you're comfortable, right, a homeless person can be more free than a person who makes millions of dollars. Now, I'm not saying go be homeless because that's not what my channel is about. What I'm saying is, what you have to understand first is that wealth is a mental thing. You're not making money to become wealthy. You are thinking your way to deserving it. You're learning enough to deserve it. You're practicing discipline. You're practicing perseverance. You're practicing all of these mental skills in order to become the person who deserves to have a lifestyle that costs more, right? And even for me, I'll be honest with you, I used to, when I was building that wealth, I wanted materialistic things, right? Now I don't care. I really don't, because I realize that a car is a car. If it has a BMW symbol or if it has a Toyota symbol, it doesn't really matter. Now I will tell you this: if you buy a Lamborghini, you buy a Ferrari, and that's what you wanted, that's great. But most people who buy things like that, they're buying it to feel better about themselves. They're buying it because it's a status symbol. And if you are chasing status with money, then all you have to do is lose money, and you don't have it. And so that you're on a treadmill. You're just on a rat race. It's a different rat race, even if you own the business. So the goal is not to become rich net worth wise. The goal is to become rich right here, have a plan that allows you to help the most amount of people, and at the same time benefit on a lower level than the benefit that you give them. Because that's really all the name of the game is. If I can give this person $100 worth of value, something that they value at $100, and I can give it to them for $40, $20, $10 for free for $1, right? I'll be able to write my own check. And that's what you're really after. You're really after freedom. You're really after feeling like I decide what happens. I decide when I come and when I go. No one decides my fate but me. And so if you are after freedom, and if you're after something that you're passionate about, don't focus on money. Focus on helping people. Focus on what you're passionate about, what you enjoy, and being able to give that to people, because that's going to make you fulfilled. You're not going to care about the money, and which means that they're not going to care about the money. They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, $5,000, great, because this is worth $50,000. Make sense? Focus on the money, and you will be poor. Focus on helping others, growing yourself, becoming the highest version of yourself in terms of your mental understanding of how things work, what helps people, what makes people tick, and you will write your own check. Hopefully this video has helped someone out there, and I'll be honest with you, I've had goosebumps a couple times in this video, so I'm sure that at least 2 of you have been helped out of this. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been Mike Malbrough, and I'll see you guys on the next video.